Now, I challenge any of you to find anywhere in the scriptures. He's dealt with a female prostitute. Paul was a murderer. David slept with another man's wife, got him killed, and then took his wife, right? Jonas straight up tried to tell Christ, no, I'm not even going. Tried to kill himself. Jonas tried to commit suicide. King Solomon, for heaven's sakes. How many wives did he have? 1,000 wives? Then he went and started mating with the with the strange women. And if you read the Testament of Solomon, he might have even been attracted to one of the female demons. Might have been, when you read the Testament of Solomon, because he wanted to inquire on the female demons. Solomon was a whole nympho. But they were all women. It was still natural. All the apostles wasn't shit. Every last one of the apostles was garbage. That's why he chose them. Paul was an idolatrous Pharisee that murdered the true believers before he met Yahusha on the road to Damascus. He's dealt with everybody. All types. Christ has dealt, Yahuwah has came and has dealt with everybody, all types of people, but never anywhere in the scripture has he given this type of knowledge to a gay man or a gay woman. Never. Now, here's another thing that Christ never dealt with. Find me a scripture. Find me one scripture where any of you have ever heard of Yahuwah dealing with somebody who has delved into witchcraft. I just want one scripture, y'all. Just one. Find this Negro one scripture. You see these people out here, you go on YouTube, type in demon magicians. Just type in demon magicians. Go on YouTube and type in demon, and also watch that movie, The Cube. That movie, The Cube. C as in cat, U, B as in boy, E as in Edward, The Cube. And that will explain how the Sabbath day, because there's one room in that movie, when you watch that movie, there's only one room that doesn't move. All the rest of the rooms move according to algorithm. All of them do, except one. The Sabbath day is, okay, let me not lose my place here. Find one scripture. Just one. I'm talking about the slightest one that says Christ dealt with anybody who delved into witchcraft, divination, dealing with the dead, anything of that sort. Show me one scripture. Now, to be honest with you, I say that selling your soul is what they call it, and homosexuality, I say that that's impractical. I don't even know about witchcraft. I don't even know if there's a return from that. Now, what has to do light with dark? What has to do unbelievers with believers? What has to do righteousness with wickedness? Now, I spoke to females that came out of that stuff. allegedly dealing with other females. But were they really serious? Or were they angry because they man stepped out on them? Or they feel as though that men treat them like SHIT, mainly because they try to be the authority in the relationship. And any real man, any man with a spine, is not going to have that, and he's going to leave your ass. Now, I don't speak to gay men, but just as the time from me growing up until now, just from whatever little that I can see, I've never heard or seen of that or of a man coming out of that situation 360. Because it's not something that we would do if we say, oh, our woman left us. Oh, our woman is cheating. Oh, our woman is abusing us. It's not the same. Yahusha holds very strongly about masculinity. Yahuwah does. The scriptures are written in masculine form. Just as those angels that came down here left their natural estate and made it with the women and everybody and the animals, just as those watchers left their natural estate and went against Yahuwah to teach the women and men of the world evil things such as sacrifice, the chain of mail, the sword, and war, and all of this wickedness and witchcraft, just as those angels came down here, the homosexuals in Sodom and Gomorrah will meet the same fate. Now, I want to say something else, and I want y'all to pay close attention. Let's go to Romans 9, and I'm going to read 13 through 26. Romans 9, 13 through 26. Okay? Romans 9, 13. See, this is what you all don't understand. I told you, don't judge this message. Many of you think the Christian church told you that you are saved if you believe in Jesus. But let me tell you all something that's a lot of you may say that this is not right by God. Why would he do this? You cannot stay the hand of Yahushua HaMashiach. He does what he wants to do. And whether you think it's righteous or not, it holds no weight to what it is. It is what it is. What was that? Romans what? What was that? Romans 9. Romans 9. We're going to go to Romans 9 and we're going to start at the 13th verse. Romans 9 and we're going to start at the 13th verse. Shall we? And it reads, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau I have hated. Now, I want to stop there for a minute. If any of you believe that every single Caucasian person on this planet, every single one of them, is going to be destroyed, that's a lie. That's foolishness. Okay? Now, I'm not going to get into Esau right now because that's not what this is about. But I assure you that Esau is more spiritual than he is physical today. Today. I'm 100% sure of that. Okay? But that's not what this lesson is about, right? Verse 14, Romans 9, verse 14. Paul, who was more wiser than Solomon. Paul was given more wisdom than Solomon. Any of y'all want to bet on that? All right. So it says, what shall we say then? So Paul going to say, what shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God? God forbid. See, he's asking this question because it's about to get real crazy, what he's about to say. And this is not an unpopular verse. Many of you who are somewhat skilled in the scriptures, you know about this scripture. So Paul's going to ask, he's going to say, what shall we say then? Is there an unrighteousness with God? Why did he say that? Because he said, Jacob I love, but Esau I hated. So if anybody think that God can't hate, it tells you right here that he hated Esau. What shall we say then? So then he's going to say, well, because he said he hated Esau, and then Paul's going to say, well, what shall we say then? Is that unrighteous? Excuse me. He's going to say, is that unrighteousness with God? Basically, right? Then he's going to go in and say, God forbid, that's not unrighteousness. Right? He says, for he saith unto Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So he can have mercy and compassion on anybody that he chooses. Not just an Israelite. It can be a Caucasian. It can be an Arab. It can be a Jap. It can be a Chinaman. It can be anybody. Okay? All right? So then, is it not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of God that sheweth mercy? Right? So it's not your own merit. Okay? It's well, that's not exactly what that's saying. But ultimately, he's saying, listen, I can really have mercy on anybody and for any reason, according to my purpose. But anyway, it says, for the scripture saith unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might shew my power in thee, and that my name may be published, or my name may be declared throughout all. So now, this is for a lot of people that aren't skilled in the scriptures. I want you to pay attention. Do you know that God exalted the Pharaoh? And this is for a lot of you Negroes and a lot of you women out there, that you think that you everything in a bag of chips. You might be getting exalted to get brought down. Everybody will be humbled. If you are arrogant, prideful, narcissistic, MFer, I promise you, your day is coming. Do you know that God rose exalted the Pharaoh just so he can split the river and then bring the river upon him and split the sea and then bring the sea? Christ raised him up, exalted him, gave him a little bit of glory, then hardened his heart because he already had a hardened heart, only so he can bring the waters upon him, destroy his army, and then publish his name in the earth. Yah, God, whom you all claim you know, all he wanted was recognition so that you all can believe. All he wanted was recognition. That was it. But it is not your job to obtain your own recognition. You obtain recognition through being exalted by Elohim. Then he's going to go ahead and he's going to say, Then he's going to go and he say, therefore, hath he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he hardeneth. So he's trying to say he hardened the Pharaoh's heart. His army was destroyed. Now I believe Pharaoh, he actually showed mercy to Pharaoh. Because while Pharaoh was tumbling in the waters, Pharaoh called out the name Yahuwah in fear and in recognition. Double check that. But I believe Yah showed him mercy. But don't quote me on that one. Then Paul is going to go ahead and say, thou wilt say then unto me, why doth he yet find fault? For who has resisted his will? Who has resisted the will of Christ? Who has resisted the will of Yahuwah Elohim? Many of you are so stupid that you actually think that you're resisting his will? Those of you who think that you are high and mighty, I'm warning you, you better humble yourself. And all the wickedness that you've done, if you don't humble yourself, that judgment is going to hit hard. It's going to hit hard, man. We all reap what we sow. All of us. We all reap what we sow. Okay? Then Paul is going to go ahead and say, nay, no, not the potter. Have not the potter power over the clay? Each and every one of you individuals on this planet is considered the clay. Christ, Yah, is the potter, and all of us are the clay. And Paul says, does not the potter have the power over the clay? Listen, because many of you don't know how hard it is for celebrities. And some of them celebrities, not only have they made a pact with Satan, they've delved into witchcraft and homosexuality. Some of them got all three going on. Woo! Some of these celebrities got it all going on, and they're still going. Making it practically impossible to obtain everlasting life. It says, listen very carefully. Have not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another vessel unto dishonor? What if God, willing to shew his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted for destruction? Christ is only allowing. See, grace, that's why I don't like the word grace. The English language is a wicked, wicked language, and grace does not give us a complete understanding of what's going on. There's a time period before the third trumpet. There's a lot of things going to happen between now and the third trumpet. After the third trumpet, whomever has not repented is going to wake up to everlasting torment. After the third trumpet, there will be about a half hour of silence before the sky opens, before the return of Yahushua HaMashiach. Many of you are not taking this seriously, and that's why many of you are going to die in the hellfire. You take that bag seriously. You take your weave and bundles seriously. You take having that Maserati or that Porsche seriously. You take looking good seriously. You take all of these things of this world very seriously. But you're not taking Christ seriously. And I explained that that is the reason why many of you need to take Christianity, throw it in the garbage, and come to the truth so that you can fear Elohim. And that is the beginning of wisdom. How can you respect Jesus? But you better respect Yahusha. I'm telling y'all right now. Who has resisted his will? Oh no. Potter over the clay. Of the same lump, make one vessel of honor and one vessel to dishonor. What if God, I read that. And then it says, and that he might make known the riches of the glory on the vessels of mercy. See, the word really should be mercy, because we have a time period, but he's really giving a mercy. It's a mercy, but it's only until the third trump. It's not forever. Which he had afore prepared. Listen carefully. Listen. And that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy, which he had afore prepared unto glory. If you are a vessel, now a lot of people, this is what a lot of people don't think is fair. And this is what a lot of people don't understand about God. The vessels of glory were predetermined. Anybody whom he's going to have mercy on was already predetermined. You were already foretold to receive mercy. Now listen, because this is very scary. Even us, whom he hath called, not of the Jews only, but also of the Gentiles. Now, a lot of people think that that's talking about the Gentiles who were Israelites that were actually in the midst of Gentiles and adhered to their customs. No, it's actually talking about other nations. And I'm going to prove it. It says, and he saith also to in OC, I will call them my people, which were not my people. Okay, maybe not. I'm not going to quite discuss that right now. Okay? He can give mercy to other nations. He might not be talking about the other nations right here. All right? But that's not neither here nor there. But then he's going to say, and it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there shall they be called the children of the living God. He is talking about Israel. Okay? Okay, so I just want to go down here to where he says, now, I'm going to read verse 30 to 33, and I want you all to pay attention. And it says, what shall we say then? That the Gentiles which followed not after righteousness have attained to righteousness, even the righteousness of faith? But Israel, which followed after the law of righteousness, hath not attained to the law of righteousness? Okay, so you heard that, right? What shall we say then? That the Gentiles, which followed not after righteousness, have obtained to the righteousness, even the righteousness which is of faith? But Israel, which followed after the law of righteousness, hath not attained the law of righteousness? Wherefore? Because they sought it not by faith, but as if it were by works of the law, for they stumbled at that stumbling stone. As it is written, behold, I lay in Sion a stumbling block, and a rock of offense, and whoever believeth on him shall not be ashamed. He created vessels for destruction, and he created vessels for honor, both in and out of Israel. So within Israel, there are vessels that will have to burn in the hellfire. That's what it said. And certainly outside the nation of Israel, many of you other nations are non-believers, and you believe in false gods. And many of you, for your idolatry and your customs, will certainly burn in the lake of fire.
By offering electric when you want it and gas when you need it, you and the Chrysler Pacific.
Okay. Let us go to, we're almost done. Whew. I think I can do this next one in the next half hour. We're almost done. Okay. Let's go to the next segment. The next segment is called The Present Contract. Okay? The Present Contract. All right? So, I think I can start it. Or should I just go ahead and... Yeah, I'll go ahead and just move on to the next half hour and see if I can get it in there. Okay?